Chapter 4. The Rights and Privileges of Teachers in the Philippines. Philippine law that state the rights and privileges of teachers. Republic Act 4670, Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Commonwealth Act No. 578, and the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Republic Act 4670, this act shall be known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, except those in the professional staff or state colleges and universities. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress assembled. Section 1. Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared to be the policy of this Act to promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their employment and career prospects, in order that they may compare favorably with existing opportunities. The Congress hereby declares that it is the policy of the United States that activities in space should be devoted to peaceful purposes for the benefit of all mankind. This act shall be known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers and shall apply to all public teachers except those in the professional staff of state colleges and universities. In providing professional rights and safeguards to our public school teachers in consideration of the exigency and level of difficulty of the exercise their profession. Section 3. Recruitment and Qualification. Recruitment policy with respect to the selection and appointment of teachers shall be clearly defined by the Department of Education. That effective upon the approval of this Act, the following shall constitute the minimum educational qualifications for teachers applicants. For teachers in the kindergarten and elementary grades, bachelor's degree in elementary education. For teachers of secondary schools, bachelor's degree in education or its equivalent with a major or a minor of bachelor's degree in arts or science with at least 18 professional units in education. For teachers of secondary vocational and 2 years technical courses, bachelor's degree in the field or specialization with at least 18 professional units of education. For teachers of courses and college level other than vocational master's degree with a specific area of specialization, that in the absence of applicants who possess the minimum educational qualifications as provided, the school superintendent may appoint under a temporary status applicants who do not meet the minimum qualifications. Section 4. Probationary period. Our recruitment takes place after adequate training and professional preparation in any school recognized by the government. No probationary period preceding regular appointment shall be imposed if the teacher possesses the appropriate civil service eligibility. That there where, due to the exigencies of the service, it is necessary to employ as teacher as a profession or person who possesses the minimum educational qualifications above set forth but lacks the appropriate civil service eligibility. Such person shall be appointed on a provisional status and shall undergo a period of probation for not least one year from after the date of his provisional appointment. Section 5. Tenure of office. Stability of employment and security of tenures shall be assured teachers as provided existing laws. Subject to the provisions of Section 3, teachers appointed on a provisional status for lack of necessary civil service eligibility shall be extended permanent appointment for the position he is holding after having rendered at least 10 years of continuous, efficient, and faithful service in such position. Section 6. Consent for teachers, transportation expenses. Except for cause and as herein otherwise, no teacher shall be transferred without his consent from one station to another. where the exigencies of the service require the transfer for a teacher from one station to another. Such transfer may be effected by the school superintendent, who shall previously notify the teacher concerned the transfer of and the reason. Section 7. Code of Professional Conduct for Teachers. Within 6 months from the approval of this Act, the Secretary of Education shall formulate and prepare a code of professional conduct for public school teachers, that there where is not possible by reason of inadequate fiscal resources of the Department of Education. At least 3 copies of the same code shall be deposited with the office of the school principal or head teacher, where they may be accessible for use by the teachers. Section 8. Safeguards in Disciplinary Procedure. Every teacher shall enjoy equitable at each stage of any disciplinary procedure and shall have the right to be informed in writing of the charges, the right to full access to the evidence in the case, the right to defend himself and to be defended by a representative of his choice or by his organization, adequate time being given to the teacher for the preparation of his defense. The right to appeal to clearly designated authorities. No publicity shall be given to any disciplinary action being taken against a teacher during the dependency of his case. Section 9. Administrative Charges. A teacher shall be heard initially by a committee composed of the corresponding school superintendent of the division. The teacher belongs as chairman, a representative of the local or its absence any existing provincial or national teachers organization, and a supervisor of the division. The last two to be designated by the Director of Public Schools. The committee shall submit its findings and recommendations to the Director of Public Schools within 30 days from the termination of the hearing. Section 10. No discrimination. There shall no discrimination over an entrance to the teaching profession or during its exercise, termination of services. Section 11. Married teachers. Whenever possible, the proper authorities shall take all steps to enable married couples, both of whom are public school teachers, to be employed in the same locality. Section 12. Academic Freedom. Teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regard to teaching and classroom methods. Hours of work and remuneration. Section 13. Teaching hours. Any teacher engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. Preparation and correction of exercise and other work incidental to his normal teaching duties. Where the exigencies of the service are required, any teacher may be required to render more than 6 hours but not exceeding 8 hours of actual classroom teaching a day upon payment of additional compensation at the same rate as his regular remuneration plus at least 25% of his basic pay. Section 14. Additional compensation. Any provision of existing law to the contrary, co-curricular and out-of-school activities and other activities outside as normal duties of any teacher shall be paid an additional compensation. In the case of other teachers or school officials not engaged in actual classroom instruction, any work performed in the excess of 8 hours a day shall be paid an additional compensation of at least 25% of their regular remuneration. Section 15. Criteria for salaries. Teacher salaries should correspond to the following criteria. They shall compare favorably with those paid in other occupations requiring equivalent or similar qualifications, training, and abilities. They shall be such as to ensure teachers as reasonable standard of life for themselves and their families. And they shall be properly graded to recognize the fact that certain positions require higher qualifications and greater responsibility than others. Section 16. Salary Scale. Teachers shall provide for a gradual progressions from minimum to a maximum salary by means of regular increments granted automatically after 3 years. That the efficiency rating of the teacher concerned is at least satisfactory, the progression from the minimum to the maximum of the salary scale shall not extend over a period of 10 years. Section 17. Equality in salary scales. The salary of teachers whose salaries are appropriated by a city, municipal district, or provincial government shall not be less than those provided for teachers of the national government. Section 18. Cost of living allowance. Teachers' salaries shall at the very least keep pace with the rise in the cost of living by a payment of a cost of living index. The Secretary of Education shall recommend to Congress, at least annually, the appropriation of the necessary funds for the cost of living allowances of teachers employed by the national government. The determination of the cost of living allowance by the Secretary of Education upon approval of the President of the Philippines be binding on the city, municipal, or provincial government for the purposes of calculating of cost of living allowance of teachers under its employ. Section 19. Special hardship allowances. In areas in which teachers are exposed to hardship, such as difficulty in commuting to the place of work or other hazards peculiar to the place of employment, as determined by the Secretary of Education, they shall be compensated by special hardship allowances equivalent for the at least 25% of their monthly salary. Section 20. Salaries to be paid in legal tender. Salaries of teachers shall be paid in the legal tender of the Philippines or its equivalent in checks or treasury warrants. Section 21. Deductions prohibited. No person shall take deduction whatsoever from the salaries of teachers except under specific authority of law authorizing such deductions. Lawful dues and fees owing to the Philippine Public School Teachers Association and premiums properly due and insurance policies shall be considered deductible. Health measures and injury benefits. Section 22. Medical examination and treatment. Compulsory medical examination shall be provided free of charge from all teachers before they take up the teaching, and shall be repeated not least once a year during the teacher's professional life. Section 23. Compensation for injuries. Teachers shall be protected against the sequences of employment injuries in accordance with existing laws. The effect of the physical and nervous strain on the teacher's health shall be recognized as a compensable occupation disease in accordance with existing laws. Last, we have leave and retirement benefits. Section 24. Study leave. In addition to the leave privileges now enjoyed by teachers in the public schools, they shall be entitled to study leave not exceeding 1 school year after 7 years of service. Such leave shall be granted in accordance with a schedule set by the Department of Education. During the period of such leave, the teachers shall be entitled to at least 60% of their monthly salary. That no teacher shall be allowed to accumulate more than 1 year study leave, unless he needs an additional semester to finish his thesis for a graduate study. And Section 25. Indefinite leave. An indefinite sick leave of absence shall be granted of 2 teachers when the nature of the illness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at least. And Section 26. Salary increase upon retirement. Public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirements of the applicable retirement laws shall be given one range salary rise upon retirement, which shall be the basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and monthly benefits thereafter. Teachers' Organization, Section 27. Freedom to organize. Public school teachers shall have the right to freely ban without previous authorization, both to establish and to join organizations of other choosing, whether local or national, to further and defend their interest. Section 28. Discrimination against teachers prohibited. The rights established in the immediately preceding section shall be exercised without any interference or coercion. Section 29. National Teachers Organization. National Teachers Organization shall consulted in the formulation of national education policies and profession standards, and in the formulation of national policies governing the social security of the teachers. Administration and enforcement. Section 30. Rules and regulations. The Secretary of Education shall promulgate and prepare the necessary rules and regulations to implement the provision of this Act. Rules and regulations issued pursuant. The section will shall effect 30 days after publication in a newspaper of general circulation and by such other means as the Secretary of Education deems reasonably sufficient to give interest parties general notice of issues issuance. Section 31. Budgetary estimates. The Secretary of Education shall submit to Congress annually the necessary budgetary estimates to implement the provisions of the Act concerning the benefits granted to the public school teachers under the employ of national government.